Hello everyone! I thought long and hard whether I should do this video or not because I think it's a quite sensitive subject and because I think other people had it way worse than me. So I'm not sure if I'm in the position of actually having a valuable opinion, and I'm not gonna go too much into political detail. I thought maybe you would like to know how it felt for me to experience the events in Paris firsthand. So I will center my story around how Paris felt like before and after the attacks. My story begins when I wanted to surprise my mom with a trip to Paris for her birthday, so it was only gonna be like for the weekend. We were gonna leave on Friday and come back on Sunday, which we did anyway. We left Friday morning early around 5 a.m. and I didn't sleep very well that night, so I was incredibly tired, so was my mom. And this is relevant to the story because we got there, we checked into the hotel, we left our luggage, we had a shower, we got changed and we went out. We decided to hit the shops, so we went on Champs-Elysees first, sort of like get to know the place as quick as we could because we didn't have a long time obviously there, so we wanted to know our way around. We took a cab, we got there and we went through every shop on the street, every coffee place, every food place, wanted to experience everything, and it was absolutely beautiful. There were so many people there and the atmosphere was so amazing. It was full of people, it was packed. Even though the weather wasn't all that great, people were still having a good time. As we were walking, and we shared this experience later on, my mom and I were separately thinking to each other, if an attack would happen right now, it would just devastate the city because it was so full, and because of previous events, you sort of have this thoughts going through your head. But we enjoyed our day all in all. In the evening, when the sun went down and it got darker, we thought we should go down to the Eiffel Tower. It was absolutely gorgeous. We took pictures there, we walked about. We were even gonna go up, but there was a massive queue, so we just skipped that altogether. We wanted to go on the other side of Arc de Triomphe, where we saw this lit wheel. I thought I really want to see what's going on there. So we were gonna go from the Eiffel Tower to that place afterwards. Maybe we could grab something to eat there, or I don't know. And this was at around 8 o'clock, and I do remember that evening going around the food places and hearing the football match on the TV. After we saw the lit Eiffel Tower and we took some pictures, we thought we should head towards that place. So we got into the cab, drove down the Champs-Elysees. In the last second, we were like, we're so incredibly tired. I took out my phone and I had the address of the hotel and I gave it to the driver. And we got to the hotel around, I don't know, 9 o'clock. So I didn't have 3G on my phone, neither did my mom. We didn't activate our roaming. We just had to connect to the Wi-Fi at the hotel so we can talk to the people at home. And we had a shower, we changed, and we thought we'd just hit the bed early because we were knackered. So I left a message on my phone saying to my husband, I'm going to bed early, good night. The next morning we were supposed to go to Disneyland, so we were gonna wake up at like 8 a.m, go have breakfast and then take a cab and then go to Disneyland. We had tickets, we had fast pass, so I was actually really excited. Next morning we woke up at like 8 a.m. At the hotel you have to have the light on so the switch would work. I had to charge my phone into the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom and picked up my phone, and I saw these messages from my husband saying, are you alright? Where are you? Please call me immediately as soon as you see this. There have been attacks. Please just call me. I'm really worried. Obviously, he knew that I was in bed, so that's why he didn't panic too much. But he was still extremely worried because he didn't know that at any point, anywhere around the city, there could have been another attack. I was clearly extremely confused and didn't know what he was talking about. It sort of felt like a dream, like a nightmare. We opened the TV and then reality hit us. There have been attacks in 6 places, as you probably already know. In Paris, they would shut everything, all the shops and all the museums, all the attractions, including Disneyland. I advised everyone not to come out of the house, to stay put, to stay safe. So we started off by just going to have breakfast where we normally went. Before we went down at the reception, my mom was thinking, what do I say to the French women working here? Because it's so awkward. Do I just say I'm sorry? Or I just said to my mom, you don't have to say anything. When we got to the breakfast place, it was like this weird feeling of quietness. I don't even know exactly what to associate it with. There were some people at the table reading the newspaper, other people were talking on the phone about it. People were just walking by with the sadness on their face and sort of looking around in fear. It was all in all really odd. As the day went on, people started coming out more and more, so we thought we should go back to Champs-Elysees anyway. We only had 3 days and living in fear wasn't really an option. Now, maybe that was reckless, maybe not, I don't know. We thought we should sort of like try and make this trip as normal as possible under the circumstances. I can honestly tell you that when we got there was police everywhere. There was police in every shop. They would search everyone's bags before you entered the shop. They were extremely cautious if the door beeped for every reason when someone would go out from the shop, and that happened to me quite a few times because I had a backpack that had like a chain, so I think that triggered every alarm in every store. There were agents just sitting on the bench and watching out. It was odd. Like, I can honestly tell you it was odd. Well, I felt like in the morning people were shook up, waking up with this news. Later on during the day, it felt more like people were just trying to move on with their day, still stick up to their routine, still go into the shop, still go into the market. I didn't feel much of a difference like I did in the morning. Probably the only thing that would have been a reminder down the street is the police enforcement that was like 10 times higher than usual. That was a constant reminder. For me personally, I couldn't help looking around. Every time I would see someone suspicious, it felt like the blood froze in my veins. And it was not a nice feeling. Not a nice feeling walking about and looking around. Not a nice feeling not being able to fully enjoy your day. And not a nice feeling hearing non-stop in the news how people lost their lives and how family lost their dear ones. It was horrible. As I said, I'm nowhere near as affected as other people have been, but being there, I have a better understanding of the situation than I would have had if I would have been anywhere else at that point. Another thing that I noticed was that while before the shops and food places would be open until late, now as soon as the sun went down at like, I don't know, maybe around 6 o'clock, they would shut every food place, every store. Most of the store would be shut all the way through the day. It was a really odd feeling. It was really difficult to still enjoy your trip afterwards. I remember clearly as a conclusion seeing an interview of this guy saying that Paris doesn't really feel any different the day after the attacks. The only proof that remains would be the bloodstains on the ground that still haven't been covered. I haven't seen any of that. The only thing I've seen was this memorial place where people would go and put flowers. Obviously all my family and friends were really worried about me, and I do think that we were extremely lucky to go back to the hotel earlier, because otherwise I wouldn't have been here right now telling you the story. At the same time, I can't stop feeling sorry for everyone that lost someone they loved. Going back home on Sunday, I remember there were just 2 English teenagers in front of us in the airplane, and one of them was telling a story from an even closer perspective. She was actually there and she heard someone saying run, so she just panicked and ran off. Honestly, I couldn't stop worrying until I actually landed. This trip was bittersweet. It was bitter obviously because of everything that happened, and sweet because I got to actually spend some time with my mom, which I really enjoyed. I cannot express enough my regret because of what happened. Thank you for watching and listening, and please stay safe.